just trying to put the Father over everything. I'm just trying to put the Father over everything. I'm just trying to put the Father over everything. I'm just trying to put the Father over everything.
He destroys. My mouth speaks the praise of Yah, and let all flesh bless his set apart name forever and
And
ever.
never. All praise to God.
Hallelujah.
All praise to the Most High.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Praise
Man,
Yah,
all
man.
praise to the Most
Praise the
High,
Most
man.
Praise
High.
y'all. Praise y'all.
Hey, y'all nasty, boy. Y'all nasty, man. Y'all know how to get somebody's spirit jump. Hallelujah.
All
Hallelujah, man. I'm telling you, man.
Selling they soul, liquor and dope. Letting go of the rope, young in the old, slippery slope. Proverbs 1 and 24 is the cause of our woes. We don't even know. So many in the city like a father. Ain't no winning till we turn back to the Father. No quitting, remain willing to go harder for the Abba.
You got good people out there. You still got to follow the
He told us
commandments.
that the money come with problems and we got no way to solve them. If you got it, then you got them. Best believe that, bro. Open up the Bible, you will find yourself
And
inside it.
this is the message which we have heard from him and announced to you, that Elohim is light, and in him is no darkness at
In the
all.
scriptures, love life and put the Father over everything. I'm just trying to.
I was thinking when actually since you said that I was looking at Psalm 66, and that's what is going on.
Just trying to put the Father over everything, yeah. Father over everything. I'm just trying to put the Father over everything. Could care less about the power. You could keep the rings. I'm just trying to put the Father over.
That's when that lust kick in, man. You always got to be dealing with that fight, that daily flesh fight every day,
Every
every
day.
day.
Jews look strange to Americans. They ain't used to seeing Torah keeping people with no Satan in them. Some of us only keep the
I was
laws
able
and
to
our
connect
actions
to
of the
one of our
few.
elders in Africa of the Limba tribe.
Till we discover the truth in that days, we be doing something different. We follow the Abba to the T with no permission. Wrestling for blessings like you cold, we on a mission. Fully understanding we're the vehicle to bring the truth to others while maintaining that Yahuwah is the engine. I don't think you heard me, I said Yah must be the engine. The Messiah came in his name, he is on one accord with him. In this land of Kiddim, always second guess doctrine that's polytheistic and not keeping the Father central. I'm just trying to put the Father over everything. I'm just trying to put the Father over everything. Could care less about the
I don't think the Most High made a mistake. That's how I look at it. He knew what was going on. He knew what he was going to do. He knew how it was going to play out. You know what I'm saying? He
Right on.
declared the end from the beginning. So if it went like that,
That's
it
how
meant
it
to
was
go
supposed
that
to
Go
way.
go.
like that.
less about the power, you could keep the rings. I'm just trying to put the Father over everything, yeah. Father over everything. Father over everything. Power, you could keep the rings. Father over everything, yeah.
I know y'all Hebrews, and I know it's late. So, Shabbat Shalom. I love y'all, man.
Nah,
Oh,
Love,
love
bro.
you too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Love, brothers.
Hey, Shabbat.
Okay. Psalms 85. Yah, you shall take pleasure in your land. You shall turn back the captivity of Jacob. You shall take away the crookedness of your people. You shall cover all their sin. Selah. You shall withdraw all your wrath. You shall turn your fierce displeasure. You shall turn from your fierce displeasure. Turn back to us, O Elohim, of our deliverance, and cause your vexation towards us to cease. Would you be enraged with us forever? Would you draw out your displeasure from generation to generation? would you not revive us again for your people to rejoice in you? Show us love and commitment, O Yahuwah, and give us your deliverance. Let me hear what El Yahuwah speaks, for he speaks peace to his people and to his lovely committed ones, and let them not turn again to folly. Truly, his deliverance is near to those who fear him, for esteem to dwell in our land. Loving commitment and truth shall meet. Righteousness and peace, shall kiss. Truth sprouts forth from the earth, and righteousness looks down from heaven. Indeed, Yah gives what is good, and our land yields its increase. Righteousness goes before him and prepares a way for his footsteps.
Man, all praise. Yeah, that kind of goes with what we about to get into, right?
All praises.
Man.
And what we dealing with today, Out?
What's that? To the Jew and to the Gentile, the creation of a nation, man.
Creation of a nation. All praises.
So what we picked up, we're picking up off you know, when the Israelites was coming into Egypt, you know, when Joseph was reigning over Egypt. All right. But when we read up.
Yeah, I hit it, but this is just what we left off last time. This Genesis 45:9. This is what we left off last time. So it say, hurry up, hurry and go to my father and say to him, thus says your son Joseph, Elohim has made me master of all Mizraim. Come down to me, do not delay. All right, so we just left off on that 45:9. So let's pick up where we left off. And these are the names of the children of Israel who came to Mizraim with Jacob, each one with his household: Reuben, Shimeon, Levi, and Yehuda, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher. And all those who were descendants of Jacob were 70 beings, as Joseph was already in Mizraim. Right?
So it's saying only 70 people came into Egypt.
Mm-hmm. And it came to pass, that after Jacob died, the children of Yashrael multiplied in the land of Mizraim, and they became a great nation. And they were of one accord in heart, so that brother loved brother, and every man helped his brother. And they increased abundantly and multiplied exceedingly 10 weeks of years, all the days of the life of Joseph. So right here, we see that they ain't even in slavery. When they first came down to Mizraim, they weren't slaves when they first came down, right? And they say that brother loved brother. So it was brotherly love. It was unity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, they increased a lot. So it was having kids and just chilling.
And there was no Satan, nor any evil all the days of the life of Joseph, which he lived after his father Jacob. For all the Mizraim honored the children of Yashrael all the days of the life of Joseph. And Joseph died being 110 years old. 17 years he lived in the land of Canaan, and 10 years he was a servant, and 3 years in prison, and 80 years he was under the king ruling all the land of Mizraim.
Okay, so he was in that dungeon he was locked up for 3 years. Okay. Before Pharaoh called him and told him, before he told Pharaoh the dream.
Right. And he died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And he commanded the children of Yashrael before he died that they should carry his bones with them when they went forth from the land of Mizraim. And he made them swear regarding his bones, for he knew that Mizraim would not again bring forth and bury him in the land of Canaan. For Matrimon, king of Canaan, while dwelling in the land of Ashur, fought in the valley with the king of Mizraim and slew him there, and pursued after the Mizraim to the gates of Ermon, but he was not able to enter. For a new king had become king of Mizraim, and he was stronger than he. And he returned to the land of Canaan, and the gates of Mizraim were closed, and none went out, and none came into Mizraim. So now we're getting that background when they say it was a new king that didn't know Joseph, right? This that new king here that didn't know Joseph or the children of Yashrael. And Joseph died in the 46th Jubilee, in the 6th week, in the 2nd year. And they buried him in the land of Mizraim, and all his brethren died after him. And the king of Mizraim went forth to war with the king of Canaan in the 47th Jubilee, in the 2nd week, in the 2nd year. And the children of Yashrael brought forth all the bones of the children of Jacob, save the bones of Joseph. So it ain't bring Joseph's bones, right? And they buried them in the field in the double cave in the mountain. And most of them returned to Mizraim, but a few of them remained in the mountains of Chevron, and Aram, your father, remained with them. And the king of Canaan was victorious over the king of Mizraim, and he closed the gates of Mizraim.
So so they beat the Egyptians then.
Right.
Okay.
It's that new king that rose that didn't know about Joseph, right?
Right, okay.
We also see that when they went to Canaan to bury the bones of Jacob, that most of Yashrael returned back to Mizraim, but some of them stayed, right, in Chevron, right? And it say Aram, your father, that's Moshe daddy. It said he stayed back, you know what I'm saying, instead of going back to Mizraim.
Want me to hit this up?
Yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
All right. And it came to pass these things that all the counselors of Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, and all the elders of Mizraim assembled and came before the king and bowed down to the ground. And they sat before him. And the counselor and elders of Mizraim spoke unto the king, saying, Behold, the people of the children of Israel is greater and mightier than we are. And you know all the evil which they did to us, and the road when we returned from battle. So that was the king of Canaan when they overcame them, right?
Yeah, that same battle, that same war, yes, sir, that we just reading about.
Yep. And you have also seen their strong power, for this power is unto them from their fathers. But a few men stood up against a people, numerous as the sand, and smote them at the edge of the sword. And of themselves, not one has fallen. Them they didn't even lose nobody.
Right.
And of themselves, not one has fallen. So that if they had been numerous, they would have utterly destroyed them. Now therefore, give us counsel what to do with them, until we gradually destroy them from amongst us, lest they become too numerous for us in the land.
Hey, that's very strong right there. Until we gradually destroy them from among us.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we about to get into that too.
For if the children of Israel should increase in the land, they will become an obstacle to us. And if any war should happen to take place, they with their great strength will join our enemy against us and fight against us, destroy us from the land, and go away from it. So the king answered the elders of Mizraim and said unto them, this is the plan advised against Israel, from which we will not depart.
Okay.
Behold, in the land are Pithom and Rameses, cities unfortified against battle. It behooves you and us to build them and to fortify them. Now therefore, go, you also, and act cunningly towards them, and proclaim a voice in Mizraim and in Goshen at the command of the king, saying, so he's telling them, go in there, be wise. Just like we read in that Exodus. All ye men of Mizraim, Goshen, Patharoth, and all their inhabitants, the king has commanded us to build Pithom and Rameses, and to fortify them for battle. Okay, so I see what's going on. So he's okay, telling them that we're gonna build a city together.
Right. And he specifically going to the Egyptians right now, right? He said, go to the places of Mizraim. Our people was also in Goshen, right? And Pathrock, right? All the inhabitants, right? So this the kind of plan that they devising right now, right?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna start from the top. All ye men of Mizraim, Goshen, Patharoth, and all their inhabitants, the king has commanded us to build Pithom and Rameses, and to fortify them for battle. Who amongst you of all Mizraim, of the children of Israel, and all of the inhabitants of the cities, are willing to build with us? Shall each have his wage, give it to him daily at the king's order. So go you first and do cunningly, and gather yourselves and come to Pithom and Rameses to build. So he's saying, he's gonna pay everybody, build this city, right? Like a job.
Right.
Pay them all
right. And while you are building, cause a proclamation of this kind to be made throughout Mizraim every day at the command of the king. We're going to Jasher, right out?
Oh no, read that to 15.
Oh, okay, okay. And when some of the children of Israel shall come to build with you, you shall give them their wages daily for a few days. Okay. And after they shall have built with you for their daily hire, drag yourselves away from them daily, one by one, in secret. So it's saying we're gonna work with the Israelites, but then little by little they're gonna start disappearing.
Right.
And then you shall rise up and become their taskmasters and officers, and you shall lead them afterwards to build without wages. And should they refuse, then force them with all your might to build. And like we saying, like, ain't nothing new under the sun, man. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this is what's going on to this day. You know what I mean? Like we got these migrants and them coming in. It's just like you might work at a job, but then you go in that job, and next thing you know, you got people from other nations that's the boss, but you could never ranked up in that job. You know what I'm saying? But then you got other nations higher than you. Just think about, like the same plan that they doing, that the Egyptians is doing to our people. I feel like they doing it now here in America, man.
Nothing new under the sun. Even when
nothing new under the sun
in this country as well.
And like you say, we in the modern day Egypt too. Most High say, I'm gonna bring you back to Egypt in ships, right?
Yes, sir.
Ain't nothing new under the sun, like y'all said. The Most High don't change.
You know what? And the way that everything looking with this money and how money's changing, I'm telling you, it's gonna be one day when and it already happened to people here in America where you don't work the whole job for a whole week and you ain't get paid on payday, man. You know what I'm saying? And them days are soon to come too.
Right. They, like you say, them days upon us where they gonna be like, oh, this is your daily serving for the day. Instead of getting money, hey, this is your daily stipend or your daily meal for the day or something along the lines.
For real, huh? And if you do this it will be well with us to strengthen our land against the children of Israel. For on account of the fatigue of the building and the work, the children of Israel will decrease, because you will deprive them from their woman day by day.
They say they're gonna be too tired to go deal with their woman at night. That's
Yes,
the
sir.
plan. That's the plan to decrease Yashrael. It's always a plan to decrease Yashrael, huh?
But they don't know. They don't know us very well, though, do they?
They don't know us all. They don't know us at all.
And all the elders of Mizraim heard the counsel of the king, and the counsel seemed good in their eyes, in the eyes of the servants of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all Mizraim, and they did according to the king's word. 21-38. And all the servants of Pharaoh and his princes came at first with the deceit to build with all the Israel daily, hired laborers, and they gave to Israel their daily hire at the beginning. And the servants of Pharaoh built with Yashrael and were employed in that work with Yashrael for a month. And at the end of the month, all the servants of Pharaoh began to withdraw secretly from the people of Yashrael daily. And Yashrael went on with the work at that time, but they didn't receive their daily hire, because some of the men of Mizraim were yet carrying on the work with Yashrael. At that time, therefore, the Mizraim gave Yashrael their hire in those days, in order that they, the Mizraim, their fellow workmen, might also take the pay for their labor.
So that's why they were still getting money, because it was misright. It was still misrights working with them, and they gonna get paid, or the whole plan gonna fall apart, right?
Right. And at the end of the year, in 4 months, all the Mizraim had withdrawn from the children of Israel, so that the children of Israel were left alone, engaged in the work. And after all the Mizraim had withdrawn from the children of Israel, they returned and became oppressors and officers over them. And some of them stood over the children of Israel as taskmasters to receive from them all that they gave them for the pay of their labor.
So it say when they returned. So it's just like y'all man was saying. It's like, hey man, we was working together. Then when you come back, you my taskmaster. What that look like?
And that's what I'm saying. Like in America, like I said, bro, like it's been hard for us to rank up, but we like to this day we celebrate black-owned businesses. But out of nowhere, you go into a Dunkin' Donuts, it's owned by a whole bunch of Indians. You know what I mean? And these people just out of nowhere just owning stuff. They your bosses at jobs, and this happened really, really slowly, man. So now we gotta pay attention to why these migrants coming into America the way they coming in. You know, right after they just did this depopulation scheme and all this stuff that they got going on in America. You know what I'm saying?
So all the migrants coming in.
Man, exactly. These people are still operating in this same spirit, man.
Cheap labor.
They operating in that spirit that was in Egypt at this time, right?
Yes, sir. And the Mizraim did in this manner to the children of Israel, day by day, in order to afflict in their work. And all the children of Israel were alone, engaged in the labor, and the Mizraim refrained from giving any pay to the children of Israel from that time forward. And when some of the men of Israel refused to work on account of the wages not being given to them, then the exhortators, I said it right? Exhorters?
Exactors.
Exactors and the servants of Pharaoh oppressed them and smote them with heavy blows and made them return by force to labor with their brethren. Thus did all the Mizraim unto the children of Israel all the days. And all the children of Israel were greatly afraid of the Mizraim in this matter. And all the children of Israel returned and worked alone without pay. And I want to point something out. So that verse 30, and all the children of Israel were greatly afraid of the Mizraim, right? Because we got to remember, they know about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So why didn't they call on the Most High? You know what I mean? They already seen that the Most High was with them in Canaan when they overthrew the Egyptians in that battle. So I felt like this is where our people went off at and how we became slaves. And I feel like this is the same way we kind of fall off here in America. You know, like they got so dependent on going to work and coming home, getting they daily, getting their money, that daily bread, getting paid.
Right.
That when that they didn't know how to when things got rough, when they wasn't getting that money, they didn't know how to break
Work
out
for
that system.
themselves.
Yeah, they didn't know how to break out that system. So when things got hard, instead of calling on the Most High, they said that they feared the Egyptians, and this is how they got caught up in that rat race. And this same thing here in America. We wouldn't know what to do.
Well, just think about the point of slavery coming up to America just now, with the way that they used to beat us and everything. That was the same fear that was invoked on our people.
Exactly.
To take this woman and kill her and cut her baby out her womb, that's the same fear that they invoked throughout the course of slavery on us.
Right.
We could have overthrew them had we all came together, but that fact of fear, straight up.
And we supposed to fear the Most High, man.
Exactly.
He would have been with us.
And it wasn't until the cries reached up to the Most High that the Most High intervened and brought that deliverance.
Right, and like we said, ain't nothing new under the sun, brother. So we come into these very times soon to come, and hopefully we don't make the same mistake as our forefathers. You know what I mean?
We already have, brother.
Yeah.
We already have.
Yeah.
That's why we in the situation we in now. And
now,
well, and the difference. Well, my personal thought is the difference is a lot of people don't even have the thought of the Most High now.
Yeah.
A lot of people have thoughts of absolutely everything else but the Most High. So,
That's for sure.
YOLO. They on the YOLO.
As a nation, for sure. As a nation, we in the same situation.
For sure.
But individually, we definitely, brothers in this assembly, we gonna trust in the Most High. Let's not make the same mistake, man. But we see it playing out, like you said, out to this day.
Yeah, nothing new under the sun, man.
Man, and the children of Yashrael were greatly afraid of the Mizraim in this matter. And all the children of Israel returned and worked alone without pay. That mentality right there is still on us, man.
Yes.
Let's get it, though. And the children of Israel built Pithom and Rameses. And all the children of Israel did the work. Some making bricks and some building. And the children of Israel built and fortified all the land of Mizraim and its walls. And the children of Israel were engaged in the work for many years until the time came when Yahuwah remembered them and brought them out of Mizraim. But the children of Levi were not employed in the work with their brethren of Israel from the beginning unto the day of their going forth from Mizraim. For all the children of Levi knew that the Mizraim had spoken all these words with deceit to Israel. Therefore, the children of Levi remained from approaching to the work with their brethren.
Right.
Come on, man. Nobody got nothing to say? You know what I mean? Because look, can we look at America right now, brothers, for during the this damn jab, when they wanted everybody to get a jab. We was warning our people, don't go out there, don't trust them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a few of us, if that's that same spirit that we live today. Don't trust them with the jab. Don't go voting. But our people, we always got that set of our people that's gonna go with the flow, man. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta kind of withdraw from our people, man. And it's that same spirit, yo. We know that they lying to us. We know that we see the lies, but a lot of our people don't see the lies and they get caught up in the consequences. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And like Jermaine said, nobody got the Most High on their mind.
Right.
So they're gonna depend on this government. They're gonna depend on who's ever in charge, these leaders, and trust and believe them. You know.
Exactly, y'all.
And
So
just then
go
what we
ahead.
had read, what we read last week when it said Levi mean join, right? And it said rightly, your mama named you right because you're gonna be joined to the Most High. So it's like you were saying earlier, the rest of Yisrael wasn't fearing the Most High. They were trying to go get their ducats. You know, by this priestly tribe, you know, they had that fear of the Most High, and they, you know, and then when you got that fear of the Most High, what's the beginning of wisdom, right? The fear of the Most High.
Yes, sir.
Levi had the wisdom. Like, man, they talking to y'all with deceit. They had the wisdom to know that at that time because the fear of the Most High, right?
And we see that same spirit operating in America today. You know, when I'm reading it, I'm just like, man, ain't nothing new under the sun, man. It's the same spirit. You don't think the Levites was trying to tell their brothers these niggas is lying to y'all?
Man, what they was concerned about, man, we gotta go get this money. They build, man, we be building our own houses for nothing. Now they got to pay us to go build. Let's go do that.
Got caught up in the lies, man. And the Mizraim did not direct their attention to make the children of Levi work afterwards, so they had not been with their brethren at the beginning. Therefore, the Mizraim left them alone. They didn't even mess with them. You know. And the hands of the men of Mizraim were directed with continued severity against the children of Israel in that work. And the Mizraim made the children of Israel work with rigor. And the Mizraim embittered the lives of the children of Israel with hard work and mortar and bricks, and also in all manner of work in the field. And the children of Israel called Melo, the king of Mizraim, Mir, the king of Mizraim, because in the days of Mizraim had embittered the lives with all manner of work. And all the work wherein the Mizraim made the children of Israel labor, they executed with rigor in order to afflict the children of Israel. But the more they afflicted them, the more they increased and grew. And the Mizraim were grieved because of the children of Israel.
And like Big Man said earlier, they must not know us, right?
Right,
So they plan was to decrease us, right? And that plan backfired.
Man, only thing you wanted to do, man, after hard days of work, brothers, go home to your woman and have peace, man. Real talk, man.
Yeah.
And with that peace come love.
Right.
And that relief of stress too, you know?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right, Doc. Right.
Man, I was talking, didn't realize I was on mute.
Hey, I knew you was on mute. It was so quiet. I was like, yeah, he got it.
Man, I was running my mouth like y'all don't hear me.
I was like, I guess we'll get a little quick time of peace while I on mute.
I'm gonna start you sleeping.
Nah, I was moving the screen. He was moving the screen, so I knew he was on mute.
Man, I forgot I put it on mute in the beginning.
Hey man, okay. The piece is over. He's back.
Yeah, that piece over with now. Now you got to deal with my mouth the rest of the Shabbat.
Get it. Oh, praise. Don't keep getting it. Don't keep getting it.
I only keep reading it. Let's do it then. Then the sovereign, so you know, man, the Egyptians they mad. You know, they said, man, these people they still increasing. They thought that, they thought that all that hard work was going to make brothers not deal with their women no more, right?
Right. And then what you had just read, it say, and the Mizraim were grieved because of the children of Yisrael. So we see that plan didn't work. So now, what's the next plan? Come on.
Let's do it. Then the sovereign of Mizraim spoke to the Hebrew midwives, of whom the name of one was Shipporah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when you deliver the Hebrew women and see them on the birth stools, if it is a son, then you shall put him to death. But if it is a daughter, then she shall live.
Okay, so we see that first plan ain't worked with that hard labor because we still was increasing, right? So now it's like, okay, they still increasing and we grieve because of them.
Hey,
We
Adam,
like
want to read
women
this?
though. They women nice.
Yeah.
You feel me? So we're gonna keep they women. But if it's a boy, put him to death.
Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Jasher 67, 53 to 61.
Gotcha. And when the children of Yasrael heard this thing which Korah had commanded to cast their male children into the river, some of the people separated from their women and others adhered to them.
So it say some of the people, they was like, what? We're gonna throw our kids in the river. We have a boy, and I'm gonna have to separate from my woman.
So that means the men left them, defenseless, man.
Right.
They just cowered away, it sounded like. And from that day forward, when the time of delivery arrived to those women of Yasrael who had remained with their men, they went to the field to bring forth there, and they brought forth in the field and left their children upon the field and returned home.
So they say they went to the field to go have their baby then.
Wow.
And Yahuwah, who had sworn to their ancestors to multiply them, sent one of his ministering angels, which are in heaven, to watch each child in water, to anoint and swathe it, and put it into the hands to smooth stones. From one of each is sucked milk, and from the other honey. And
milk and honey.
And he caused his hair to grow to his knees, by which it covered itself, to comfort it and to cleave to it through his compassion for it.
Wow.
So those babies that got left in the field, they just cared for by those angels then.
That's
something.
Okay, I just realized that.
That's something.
All praise.
And then the Most High put that little rock in each one of their hands, and they suck milk
and honey.
And honey from the other one.
And their hair grew long enough to where they basically can wrap themselves up in their own hair.
Right.
Wow.
And we still got to understand that these midwives, we probably ain't gonna read that in that Exodus, but it say, but the midwives, they feared Elohim, and it also say, so Elohim, and it came to be because the midwives feared Elohim that he provided household for them, and it say household for them is talking about for the babies. So we see that even though the women went to leave the children in the field, the midwives were still going out there and checking on. Remember, Most High write everything in a parable also. You feel me? Get that understanding. Go ahead, Al.
Right. And when Elohim had compassion over them and had desired to multiply them from the face of the land, he ordered his earth to receive them to be preserved therein till the time of their growing up. After which the earth opened its mouth and vomited them forth. They sprouted forth from the city like the herb of the earth and the grass of the forest, and they returned each to his family and to his father's house, and they remained with them.
They was like, man, these must still multiplying out there.
And it was a promise that Elohim made, And the babes of the children of Yasrael were upon the earth like the herb of the field, through Elohim's grace to them.
Man, so that hair was covering them up, huh?
And look, man, they were upon the earth like the herb of the field.
Right, that's a lot. Right?
Multiplying.
Every time you walk over, it might be a field of corn. You walk over to the next stalk, there's another baby there.
So
everybody dropping their baby in the field, right?
And when all Mizraim saw this thing, they went forth, each to his field with his yoke of oxen and his plowshare. And they plowed it up as one plows the earth at seed time. And when they plowed, they were unable to hurt the infants of the children of Yisrael. So the people increased and waxed exceedingly. And Pharaoh ordered his officers daily to go to Goshen to seek for the babes of the children of Yasrael. And when they had sought and found one, they took it from his mother's bosom by force and threw it into the river. But the female child they left with his mother. Thus did Mizraim do to Yasrael all the days.
Hey, it's sort of crazy because even like y'all keep saying, the fact that it ain't nothing new under the sun. Like even during slavery times, the way they used to feed our babies to these alligators and stuff like that.
I knew you was gonna say that. Yep, I knew you was gonna go there.
So that's why I say they was in America or this modern day Egypt, they was feeding it to alligators. That means when they was in Egypt, they was feeding it to crocodiles on the Nile River, right? Come on. Right. Alligators come from crocodiles, right?
And when you go and look at that, you can look at that Prince of Egypt movie, Yamil. You know, and he wanted to go down there with Pharaoh, and you see it writing on the walls with the babies,
right?
With a crocodile mouth.
Yes, sir. And another thing in the to point out is like how the men wasn't around to protect the women, just like in America. You know, that was one of their strategies to get the men out the household and leave the woman and children defenseless. So that's how them people was able to just come in and snatch those babies from the women and throw them into the river. They had no men to protect the household. It wasn't even no fight.
Right.
Say some of the men separated. But other men who was around, they had adhered, you know, and they stayed around with the women. So we see some babies did get thrown in that water, just like you say in America. Some babies was fed to alligators. So we see someone was actually thrown in that water, fed to them crocodiles, man.
Yep.
Exodus. And the man of the house of Levi went and married a daughter of Levi, and the woman conceived and bore a son. And she saw that he was lovely, a lovely child, and she hid him 3 months. And when she could hide him no longer, she took an ark of wicker for him and coated it with tar and pitch and put the child in it and laid it in the reeds by the edge of the river. And his sister stood at a distance to know what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her young woman were walking by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the reeds, she sent her female servant to go get it, and opened it and saw the child, and see, the baby wept. So she had compassion on him and said, "This is one of the children of the Hebrews." And his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call a nurse for you from the Hebrew woman to nurse the child for you?" And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." And the young woman went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child away and nurse him for me. Then shall I pay your wages." So the woman took the child and nursed him.
Wow. So we see Moshe was able to be nursed by his mama, and his mama got paid for nursing.
She got paid for sure. For sure.
Hey, Jermaine, they couldn't stop us then, huh? Still can't stop.
And then you see that Moshe was a Levite too.
Yes, sir. They say a Levite woman and a Levite man came together and had a baby.
Yeah, okay, for sure.
And the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moshe, saying, "Because I have drawn him out of water."
She called his name Moshe, right?
Don't jump the Yahuda gonna probably hit this next stuff.
I hit it. And she called his name Moshe because she said she drawn him out of water. And Aram, his father, called his name Tabar, for he said, it was for him that he has associated with his woman, whom he had turned away. So we see Aram, he was one of the men that actually left his woman, that separated from his woman, right? And Yochved, his mother, called his name Yakuthael, because she said, I have hope for him to El Shaddai, and Elohim restored him unto me. right? Because we seen that she had put him on the seat. I mean, in a little wicker, a little ark. And she got paid for nursing her own baby. So she said, hey, he was returned back to me. I didn't know what was going to happen, right?
So,
and Miriam, his sister, called him Yerid, for she descended after him to the river to know what his end would be. And Aaron, his brother, called his name Avi Zanuk, saying, my father left my mother and returned to her on his account, right? So again, we see Aram was one of the fathers that actually had separated from his woman. But Aaron right here said, hey, my father left my mother and returned on his account, on Moshe's account, right? And Kohath, the father of Aram, called his name Abigdor, because on his account did Elohim repair the breach of the house of Jacob, that they could no longer throw their male children into the water. And their nurse called him Avi Zakob, saying, in his tabernacle was he hidden for 3 months on account of the children of Ham. And all Yashrael called his name Shemayahu, son of Nathaniel, for they said, in his days has Elohim heard their cries and rescued them from their oppressor. And Moshe was in Pharaoh's house and was unto Bethia, Pharaoh's daughter, as a son. And Moshe grew up amongst the king's children. So right there,
so all these people had different names basically for Moses, though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's wild.
Everybody had to eat. We see what Pharaoh's daughter called him, but now we see what everybody else called him, and we see what our Yashrael was calling him, right?
Chapter 70, y'all.
That's 70. That's for you, big guy. Welcome back.
All right. And in the 3rd year from the birth of Moshe, Pharaoh was sitting at a banquet, when Asenath, the queen, was sitting at his right, and Bethia at his left. And the lad Moshe was lying upon her bosom. And Balaam, the son of Beor, with his 2 sons, and all the princes of the kingdom were sitting at the table in the king's presence.
And it's that same Balaam, son of Beor, that caused Israel to sin in the wilderness when they put them, remember when they had put them women before they start sacrificing them to they gods and dealing with the women. It's that same Balaam. So now we see this Balaam been around, right? Now we see why Moshe got a hatred for him.
And the lad stretched forth his hand upon the king's head, and took the crown from the king's head, and placed it on his own head. And when the king and princesses saw the work which the boy had done, the king and princes were terrified. And one man to his neighbor expressed astonishment.
So we see something like this is a sin amongst the Egyptians, right?
And he cut his hands off. You see what he just did?
Yeah.
And the king said unto the princesses who were before him at the table, what speak you, and what say you, O ye princes, in this matter? And what is to be judgment against the boy on account of this act? And Balaam the son of Beor, the magician, answered before the king and princes, and he said, remember now, O Adonai and king, the dream which you did dream many days since, and that which your servant interpreted unto you. Now, therefore, this is a child of the Ivrim children, the Hebrew children, in whom is the Ruach Elohim, spirit of Elohim is in this kid. And let not my Adonai, the king, imagine that this youngster did this thing without knowledge. For he is an Hebrew boy, and wisdom and understanding are with him. Although he is yet a child, and with wisdom he has done this and chosen unto himself the king of Mizraim.
Kingdom, right?
Yeah, kingdom of Mizraim. For this is the matter of all Hebrews to deceive kings and their nobles, to do all these things cunningly in order to make the kings of the earth and their men tremble.
See, I don't like Bilam either, dog. You feel me? Go ahead, though.
Surely you know that Abraham, their father, acted thus, who deceived the army of Nimrod, king of Babel, and Abimelech, king of Ger, and that he possessed himself of the land of the children of Seth and all the kingdoms of Canaan, and that he descended into Mizraim and said to Sarah his woman, she is my sister, in order to mislead Mizraim and her king.
And this is what I'm saying. We just coming off that conception of Israel, and Abraham received the promise, and then the promise was coming through Isaac, and then and on down Jacob and his 12 sons. So look, these people know our history. You know what I mean? And we coming off the conception. So he's quoting our forefathers now. He's talking about Abraham. Now he's gonna be talking about Isaac and Jacob and so on. You know what I'm saying? So this is the beginning, of our history. You know what I'm saying? This is our foundation. As a nation of people. Go ahead.
And just like you said, these people know our history. These people know that we serve a true and living Elohim, right? Because he even said, "Hey, the ruach of Elohim, the spirit of Elohim, is in these the Hebrew boy, right?" And then he letting you know this is what Abraham did, right? Abraham was doing all some slight cunningly things, right? So again, these people know our history, man. This ain't no secret. We're the only ones that don't know our history. Go ahead.
So basically, you saying that we as a people really need to know who we come from and our history and who our Elohim is, right? Then we can understand. They teach us Black History Month usually teach you slavery and then on. You know what I'm saying? So that is true. If we knew who we was, we knew where we was going, and we knew what we had to do if we knew that.
And it's a shame that the other nations do, but we're gonna keep reading and see how this Balaam knows the history of the Hebrews. Go ahead, though.
Real quick, but just like you talked about how they said Moses had to have the spirit of the Most High, and they know that our people, they know who we supposed to serve. They know we serve the God of the Bible. That ain't no secret. They know Black people serve the God of the Bible, and nowadays that's why it's sad to watch our people go off so so much, man. You know what I'm saying? So I had to point that out, man. Because you talk
we
to a lot
his story,
right? You used to talk to a lot of Black people. A lot of us, our people went to church, man. These people know that.
His son Yitzchak, Isaac, also did so when he went to Ger and dwelt there, and his strength prevailed over the army of Abimelech, king of the Philistines. He also, through of making the kingdom of the Philistines stumble, and saying that Rebekah, his woman, was his sister. Yaakov also dealt treacherously with his brother and took from his hand his birthright and his blessing. So he know a lot about the Israelites.
Know the history. That's the thing. We gotta know our history of other nations too.
He went then, and we got to learn their history too, so we can see what they've been doing.
Right.
Hey, they give us their history all the day. You just said his story.
I was gonna say, yeah, we kind of see what they've been doing.
We get their history all day, for sure.
But their history is filled with lies, though.
Exactly. Even though they see our history, they still don't acknowledge the Most High. You know what I mean?
He went then to Paddan Aram, to the house of Lavan, his mother's brother, and cunningly obtained from his daughter his cattle and all belonging to him, and fled away and returned to the land of Canaan to his father.
That's why I don't like this dude right here, man. Look how he misscrewing the story. He giving history, but he misscrewing the story. You know what I'm talking about?
Real talk.
His sons sold their brother Joseph, who went down into Mizraim and became a slave. And we know that ain't true, right?
Exactly.
And was placed in the prison house for 12 years until the former Pharaoh dreamed dreams and withdrew him from the prison house and magnified him above all the princes in Mizraim on account of his interpreting of his dreams to him. And when Elohim caused a famine throughout the land, he sent forth and brought his father and all his brothers and the whole family and the whole of his father's household and supported them without price or reward and brought the Mizraim for slaves.
So we see that's why I said that's why we first brought up where we started at, going into Mizraim. Point now, when we first went to Mizraim, we wasn't slaves. It say actually we had Mizraims as slaves, right?
Right.
And we didn't have, and with Joseph at the head, we didn't have to pay for nothing, right? No, supported them without price or reward, and brought the Mizraim for slaves. Come on. So now when people say, "Oh yeah, you was enslaved in Mizraim for 400 years," that's not true.
Right. Now therefore, my Adonai, the king, behold, this child has risen up in their stead in Mizraim to do according to their deeds and to trifle with every king, prince, and judge.
Oh, this dude wild right here, man. I'm telling you.
If it please the king, let us now spill his blood upon the ground, lest he grow up and take away the government from your hand, and the hope of Mizraim perish after he shall have reigned.
Yeah, he wanted to murder this baby.
Right.
He's the king.
You know, Satan was dwelling in him.
Oh yeah.
That's why Moshe had to make sure he had to die. When we read it in Numbers, you feel me?
And Balaam said to the king, let us, moreover, call for all the judges of Mizraim and the wise men thereof, and let us know if the judgment of death is due to this boy, as you did say, and then we will slay him. And Pharaoh sent and called for all the wise men of Mizraim, and they came before the king, and an angel of Yahuwah came amongst them. And he was like one of those wise men of Mizraim.
So we see how go ahead, Art.
I was say that's that messages in the mist, right, Art?
Come on, we
right.
see how be working right there.
And the king said to the wise men, surely you have heard what this ivory boy who was in the house has done. And thus has Balaam judged in the matter. Now judge you also and see what is due to the boy for the act he has committed. And the angel, who seemed like one of the wise men of Pharaoh, answered and said as follows, before all the wise men of Mizraim and before the king and princes, if it please the king, let the king send for men who shall bring before him an oxy stone and a coal of fire, and place them before the child. And if the child shall stretch forth his hand and take the oxy stone, then shall we know that with wisdom has the youth done all that he has done, and we must slay him. But if he stretch forth his hand upon the coal, then shall we know that it was not with knowledge that he did this thing, and he shall live. And the thing seemed good in the eyes of the king and the princess. So the king did according to the word of the angel of Yahuwah.
Wow.
And the king ordered the onyx stone and the coal to be brought and placed before Moshe. And they placed the boy before them. And the lad endeavored to stretch forth his hand to the oxy stone,
Mm.
but the angel of Yahuwah took his hand and placed it upon the coal.
Right.
And the coal became extinguished
Right.
in his hand, and he lifted it up and put it into his mouth and burned part of his lips and part of his tongue, and it became heavy in mouth and tongue.
Wow.
That's why Moshe was like, I can't speak like,
right.
you know
That's
what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
That's why the Most High said, Aaron gonna talk for you. Aaron gonna be the prophet to talk for you.
Wow.
Now we got the background on story why Moshe, what Big I just said, why Moshe couldn't speak
For
accordingly.
sure.
And when the king and the princesses saw this, they knew that Moshe had not acted with wisdom in taking off the crown from the king's head.
And we see this was really from the angel of the Most High, right? Because it's almost impossible to pick up hot coal without dropping it back down. But he say he picked it, it was extinguished in his hand. But once he put it to his mouth, it burnt him. Come on.
So the king and princesses refrained from slaying the child. So Moshe remained in Pharaoh's house growing up, and Yahuwah was with him. And while the boy was in the king's house, he was robed in purple, and he grew amongst the children of the king. And when Moshe grew up in the king's house, Bethia, the daughter of Pharaoh, considered him as a son. And all the household of Pharaoh honored him, and all the men of Mizraim were afraid of him. And he daily went forth and came into the land of Goshen, where his brethren, the children of Israel, were. And Moshe saw them daily in shortness of breath and hard labor.
Come on. So we know Moshe know who he is. It said that he went to his brethren daily. Man, I'm gonna go kick with my boys, my Hebrew boys. You feel me?
That's right.
Egyptians. He going to Goshen. Go ahead.
Because you remember his mother raised him, right? Along with the other woman, you know.
Yes, sir.
He was around them all the time. So he knew who he was. You know, when she come, he's like, these really your people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So she had to let him know. And I'm really your mother, but you go there and you know.
He going to his brethren, but like we read earlier, remember, none of the children of Levi was never put into this hard labor like that. The building. Right. So and like you pointed out earlier, Moshe was a Levite. So who mostly he go see his brethren that he kicking it with. Oh, that's my brother from the tribe of Judah. And brother, you working, they got you working hard daily, you feel me? But of course, if he goes on, he going to his mother's house or dealing with other Levites, you feel me? And what the Levites supposed to be of the house of Yashrael, the priest of Yashrael, right? And he up so you know he going back to Goshen daily, getting game, getting truth.
And Moshe asked them, saying, wherefore is the labor meted out unto you day by day? And they told him all that had befallen them, and all the injunctions which Pharaoh had put upon them before his birth. Yep, just like we were saying, they was telling them everything.
Give them all the game. Even gave them the game how they was fooled, I say, or cunningly deceived, right?
Right. And they told him all the counsels which Balaam the son of Beor had counseled against them, and what he had also counseled against him in order to slay him when he had taken the king's crown from off his head. And he was going to tell them to kill you too.
Right. So we see, can't no secret be held within Egypt, right? You feel me?
Right.
Something go down, everybody know about it. You know what I'm talking about? That's why when Moshe killed the man, and he's like, surely this matter is known. If you know, hey, they gonna go tell JoJo, and JoJo gonna tell everybody, right?
And when Moshe heard these things, his anger was kindled against Balaam, and he sought to kill him. and he was in ambush for him day by day. He wanted, he like, man, when I catch him slipping, I'm gonna get him.
So, but we see in Numbers, he finally got him too, right?
Mm-hmm. And Balaam was afraid of Moshe, and he and his 2 sons rose up and went forth from Mizraim, and they fled and delivered their souls and betook themselves to the land of Cush, to the Cucanias, king of Cush. And Moshe was in the king's house, going out and coming in. Yahuwah gave him favor in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants, and in the eyes of all the people of Mizraim. And they loved Moshe exceedingly. And the day arrived when Moshe went to Goshen to see his brethren, that he saw the children of Israel and their burdens and hard labor. And Moshe was grieved on their account. And Moshe returned to Mizraim and came to the house of Pharaoh, and came before the king. And Moshe bowed down before the king. And Moshe said unto Pharaoh, I pray you, my Adonai, I have come to seek a small request from you. Turn not away my face empty. And Pharaoh said unto him, Speak. And Moshe said unto Pharaoh, Let there be given unto your servants, the children of Israel, who are in Goshen, 1 day to rest therein from their labor. Moshe setting up the Sabbath.
Most High setting up the Sabbath. You know that, but
can you read? Come on. Don't spoil it for us.
You know this from the Most High. And the king answered Moshe and said, Behold, I have lifted up your face in this thing to grant your request. And Pharaoh ordered a proclamation to be issued throughout Mizraim and Goshen, saying, To you, all the children of Israel, thus says the king, for 6 days you shall do your work and labor.
Nasty big man.
Let's go. Seriously.
Praise
let's come on. Let's not forget to the Jew and to the Greek, to the Gentile, the creation of a nation. So here we getting that creation of a nation. It was Most High been working, man, before those commandments came in hand. But go ahead, Al.
Hey, and don't forget, Moshe was still going back to the Levite. We just say he went daily. Daily. He going with
getting that game.
Getting that game. They giving them the truth about they telling them about the Most High, right?
Show.
To you, all the children of Israel, thus says the king, for 6 days you shall do your work and labor, but on the 7th day you shall rest, and shall not perform any work. Thus shall you do all the days, as the king and Moshe, the son of Bethiah, have commanded. And Moshe rejoiced. Go ahead, Ak.
So I was wanting to read, because we're supposed to bring out that Proverbs 21 and 1, because you know what I'm saying?
You go. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because like you said, the Most High, he's in control. So Moses went to the king, and the king, he agreed to that. But that's because Proverbs 21 and 1 says, the sovereign heart is as channels of water in the hand of Yahuwah. He turns it wherever he wishes. So that was no mistake why he agreed with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Show.
Right.
All praises. And Moshe rejoiced at this thing which the king had granted to him. And all the children of Israel did as Moshe ordered them. For this thing was from Yahuwah to the children of Israel. For Yahuwah had begun to remember the children of Israel, to save them for the sake of their fathers.
Man, so now we even getting background that this Sabbath is truly important to the Most High. He said, for this thing was from Yahuwah, right? For the children,
right?
For the Most High start remembering them, like, okay, yeah, that's the people I made a covenant, even though they went astray and started chasing them ducats, right? I'm remembering for their father's sake. All praises, man.
Right, all praises, man.
Okay. And Yahuwah was with Moshe, and his fame went throughout Mizraim. And Moshe became great in the eyes of all of Mizraim, and in the eyes of all the children of Yisrael, seeking good for his people, Yisrael, and speaking words of peace regarding them to the king.
Yeah. So yeah, I could pick it up.
Y'all be putting these lessons together better than any pastor in any church, brother. For real, man.
Through the spirit, man. Through the spirit, all
Nice,
because you get an understanding that you never ran across just off of simply, reading and seeing what this thing actually is, man. For real, man.
That's why the Most High, like how the video started. And like you always say, Big Man, iron sharpen iron. This for our edification.
Real talk, brother. For sure. For sure.
That's what edification means, to build one another up. Come on.
Man, praise y'all. All praises, man. I'm telling y'all, man.
All praises.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I got this.
And this reading is like right on, because you're getting the whole story of it.
I hit this because I'm gonna have to go in a minute, brothers.
Okay, 11 through 14.
And in those days it came to be, when Moshe was grown, that he went out to his brothers and looked at their burdens. And he saw at Mizraim striking, and he saw a Mizraim striking a Hebrew, one of his brothers.
And like we read earlier, he was going back and forth to the town. So, this probably was a personal matter. He probably knew who was getting struck. You know what I'm saying?
Right. One of his brothers. You know what I'm talking about? He looked at as a brother, right?
Right.
12. So he turned this way and that way. And when he saw no one, he struck the Mizraim and hid him in the sand. And he went out the second day and saw two Hebrew men fighting. And he said to the one who did the wrong, "Why do you strike your neighbor?" And he said, Who made you a head and a judge over us? Do you intend to kill me as you killed the Mizraim? And Moshe feared and said, "Truly this matter is known."
Come on.
Man, who made you judge over us? Ain't that what our people say today?
Just like one of us.
Hey, man, who you think you is, man?
Right.
Yeah.
Man, who's
one
this
of us.
dude trying to tell me?
And then
who is you trying?
And then, like he said, truly this matter is known. And when you're dealing with Hebrews, again, if JoJo know it, JoJo gonna tell everybody, man.
Right.
Okay. Joshua 72, 21 and 24.
Okay.
You want to keep going, Jermaine?
Yeah, I had it. At that time that the war and the siege was against Cush, Moshe fled from Israel from Pharaoh, who sought to kill him after having slain the Mizraim. And Moshe was 18 years old when he fled from Mizraim from the presence of Pharaoh. And he fled and escaped to the camp of Kikians, which at the time was besieging Cush.
So we see that Kikians, you remember Balaam had escaped there, but we didn't get that background story when Balaam left. Because, if Balaam was in the same camp as Moshe with Kikians, he would have killed him, right? So Balaam was already gone at this time.
And Moshe was 9 years in the camp of Kikinis, king of Cush, all the time that they were besieging Cush, and Moshe went out and came in with them.
So we see when Moshe first fled, when he first fled Mizraim, he didn't go straight to Midian. He went to Cush, right?
Right.
Or Ethiopia, right?
24. And the king and princes and all the fighting men loved Moshe, for he was great and worthy. His stature was like a noble lion. His face was like the sun, and his strength was like that of a lion. And he was counselor to the king.
Man, them Hebrews strong, boy. Okay, 29 to 30, y'all.
Now, after the death of Cakinus, king of Cush, it grieved his men and troops greatly on account of the war. So they said one to the other, "Give us counsel what we are to do at this time, and we have resided in the wilderness 9 years away from our homes."
So we see war ain't just no quick matter, right? You know what I'm saying? Look how long they been proclaiming this Ukraine war. It's already been almost 2 years, man.
Exactly.
This war been 9 years, right? So they've been away from their houses 9 years at war.
All right, 34 to 37.
Okay. And they wished to choose on that day a man for king from the army of Cakinus, and they found no object of their choice like Moshe to reign over them. And they hastened and stripped off each man his garments and cast them upon the ground, and they made a great heap and placed Moshe thereon. And they rose up and blew with trumpets and called out before him and said, "May the king live, may the king live." And all the people and nobles swore unto him to give him for a woman at Aduna, the queen, the Cushite woman of Cakinus. And they made Moshe king over them on that day.
So that's go ahead, Doc.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. That's where he got his wife, right? That you gonna say?
Yeah, so that's our learning something, right? Because we go read in Numbers 12 and 1 to say, now Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moshe because of the Cushite woman whom he had taken. Or he had taken a Cushite woman. We can never read nowhere in the Torah about this Cushite woman. Nowhere. The only woman that we know that Moshe took was Zipporah, and she was a Midianite. So where in the Torah do we read about this Cushite woman? This Cushite woman that they talk about in Numbers 12 and 1. We can't read it nowhere else, but we get the background of it right now about this Cushite woman that Moshe took. Or not even took, that was given to him because he was king.
Yeah.
Right.
So again, when they take these books away from us, we be reading the Torah, but we don't never just think like, who is this Cushite woman that they talking about? Moshe was married to Zipporah. She was a Midianite, right? There it is, man. And we see why they took this stuff from us. Because if you be like, Moshe was made king of Cush, ain't no white man about to be made king of Ethiopia. No, I know. So now it's gonna make you question, Moshe made king of Ethiopia? He had to be black.
Right. Had to be. Had to be. Then that's another thing. Black History Month. Learning something on the way to learning something.
I was thinking about that too. We learning something.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
And Cush mean black, right? Black face. Cushy.
Yeah, like Ethiopia. I think they say Ethiopia mean like burnt face or something like that.
Okay, Jasher 76, 1 through 13. I get it. I hit it.
Hey, I'm gonna get ready to go head out, brothers. My fault. I'm getting ready to head out. Get this up.
Shabbat shalom, man.
Shabbat shalom.
Love y'all, brothers, man.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Love. Man.
Is that Marvin out here?
Yeah, Shabbat shalom.
Oh,
Okay.
Shabbat
Shalom, man.
Shalom, man.
Shabbat shalom, Miles.
What up?
All right. You want to read this out, or you good?
I got a little cold right now.
Okay. It's all good. And Moshe, the son of Amram, was still king in the land of Cush in those days, and he prospered in his kingdom, and he conducted the government of the children of Cush in justice and righteousness and integrity. And all the children of Cush loved Moshe all the days that he reigned over them, and all the inhabitants of the land of Cush were greatly afraid of him. And in the 40th year of the reign of Moshe over Cush, so he was there 40 years, or he might have been there more, but I know he's 18 years old when he went over there, right?
Right. So he was there.
He left Mizraim.
Right. So he was there 49 years. Because remember, he was 9 years in the camp while Cacaneus was alive when he fled. And then he reigned over Cush for 40 years.
Mm.
That's a jubilee.
That's a jubilee. It is.
Straight up.
All right. That 2 plus 8 plus 40. All right. Moshe was sitting on the royal throne while Adoniyahu, the queen, was before him, and all the nobles were sitting around him. You see what kind of name she got, though?
Yes,
to be a Cushite woman?
Man, for sure. For sure. It just make you think, like, come on, man. The Most High, hey, the Most High gave his commandments to Ham, Yefeth, and Shem, right?
Right. And Adoniyahu, the queen, said before the king and the princes, "What is this thing which you, the children of Cush, have done for this long time? Surely you know that for 40 years that this man has reigned over Cush. He has not approached me,
He did
nor
what?
he has not approached me, nor has he served the Elohim of the children of Cush.
Crazy.
Now therefore hear, O my children of Cush, and let this man no more reign over you, as he is not of our flesh. Behold, Menarchus, my son, is grown up. Let him reign over you. For it is better for you to serve the son of your Adonai than to serve a stranger, slave of the king of Mizraim." And all the people and nobles of the children of Cush heard the words which Adoniyahu, the queen, had spoken in their ears. And all the people were preparing until evening, and in the morning they rose up early and made Monarchus, son of Cachias, king over them. And all the children of Cush were afraid to stretch forth their hand against Moshe, for Yahuwah was with Moshe. And the children of Cush remembered the oath which they swore unto Moshe. Therefore, they did no harm to him.
I think the only way that you can not be king no more over Cush is through death. So the only way that he couldn't be king no more was he had to die. And nobody was like, I ain't killing Moshe. Got me messed up.
Okay. Man, where was I at?
That verse 11.
Okay, verse 11. But the children of Cush gave many presents to Moshe and sent him from them with great honor. So Moshe went forth from the land of Cush and went home and ceased to reign over Cush. And Moshe was 60 years old when he went out of the land of Cush, for the thing was from Yahuwah. For the period had a
66
what'd you say?
66 years old.
Oh yeah. Moshe was 66 years old when he went out of the land of Cush, for the thing was from Yahuwah. For the period had arrived which he had appointed in the days of old to bring forth Israel from affliction of the children of Ham. So Moshe went to Midian, for he was afraid to return to Mizraim on account of Pharaoh. And he went and sat at a well of water in Midian.
So that's when the story picks back up, when we get with Exodus, right? When he went to Midian. But we see the background, because you remember when we get the story and they say when Moshe went, came back to Aaron, he was like 80 years old. It's like, what happened between that time, right?
Right.
He was reigning in Ethiopia for 40 years, right? And once he left Ethiopia, he was still 66 years old.
I'll read it out.
Okay. 16 to 25.
All right. And the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and they filled the troughs up to water their father's flock. But the shepherds came and drove them away. Then Moshe stood up and came to their rescue and watered their flock. And they came to Reuel, their father, Reuel, their father. He said, "How is it that you have come so soon today?" And they said, "And Mizraim rescued us from the hand of the shepherds, and he also drew enough water for us and watered the flock."
Oh, let me hold you right there one time, maybe think of something. It say he was in Cush for 40 years, but it seemed like they still associate him looking like a misright.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we always been confused with, being called
Egyptians.
Right. But that goes back to the women we was mixing with. That's why it specifically pointed out when we read Exodus 1 that a Levite man dealt with a Levite woman and they birthed Moshe, right? Because most of the women we probably was dealing with, remember, only 70 beings went into Egypt. So you gotta understand what women you was dealing with. Egyptian women. Come on, let's just be real.
And he said to his daughters, "And where is he? Why did you leave the man? Call him and let him eat bread." And Moshe agreed to dwell with the man. And he gave Zipporah his daughters to Moses. And she bore him a son. And he called his name Gershom. For he said, "I have became a sojourner in a foreign land."
Oh, so we see that when he was giving support, he dealt with her, but he never went into that Cushite woman.
Right. Right, because she said like he hasn't even come near me.
But he ain't approached me.
Right. And it came to be after these many days that the sovereign of Mizraim died, and the children of Israel groaned because of the slavery, and they cried out, and their cry came up to Elohim because of the slavery.
What they do, they cried out.
They cried out, man.
That's the difference in this land that we in, this Babylon we in right now. Nobody's crying out to the Most High. Everybody comfortable in Babylon. They like, I got my house, I got my car. We good.
It's gonna come a time where they're gonna cry out, though.
Yes, sir.
Right?
So,
yes, sir.
Definitely.
And Elohim heard.
Gotta come.
Man. And Elohim heard their groaning. And Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And Elohim looked on the children of Israel. And Elohim looked on the children of Israel, and Elohim knew.
He knew. All praises.
Okay.
And Moshe was shepherding the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the back of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of Elohim. Come on, man. We see what the mountain of Elohim is, right? Horeb, right?
Yes, sir.
That same Mount Sinai. And the messenger of Yah appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. And he looked and saw the bush burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, let me turn aside now and see this great sight, while the bush does not burn. And Yahuwah saw that he turned aside to see, and Elohim called to him from the midst of the bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, here I am. And he said, do not come near here. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place on which you are standing is set apart ground. And he said, I am the Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yishak, the Elohim of Jacob. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look at Elohim. And Yah said, I have indeed seen the oppression of my people who are in Mizraim, and have heard their cry because of their slave drivers, for I know their sorrows. What we going to out?
9 through 12.
9 through 12.
Okay. And I have come down to deliver them from the hand of the Mizrahites, and to bring them up from the land to a good and spacious land, to a land flowing with milk and honey, to a place of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites.
Where you at?
That's why I was jumping to 9. Okay, that's why. Okay. I ain't
9 through 12.
Okay, my bad. I'm the end of 8. For I know their sorrows, and now see, the cry of the children of Israel has come to me, and I have also seen the oppression with which the Mizrahites oppressed them. And now, come, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Mizraim. And Moshe said to Elohim, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Mizraim? And he said, because I am with you, and this is to you a sign that I sent you. When you have brought the people out of Mizraim, you are to serve Elohim on this mountain. The same mountain you got them commandments on. All praises.
All praises, man.
All praises. Okay. Exodus 4.
So Adam, you want to read it?
Sir.
4 and 18. Then we jump.
Okay. Then Moshe went and returned to Yither, his father-in-law, and said to him, please let me go and return to my brothers who are in Mizraim to see whether they are still alive. And Yithro said to Moshe, go in peace.
That's after the Most High had told him, you gonna deliver them, come serve him on this mountain. So see, Moshe believed, went to his father-in-law.
And Yah said to Aaron, go meet Moshe in the wilderness. And he went and met him on the mountain of Elohim and kissed him.
So it say he met him on the mountain of Elohim. We just seen the mountain of Elohim was what? Horeb, right?
Right. Moshe then told Aaron all the words of Yah who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moshe went with Aaron and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spoke all the words which Yah had spoken to Moshe. Then he did the signs before the eyes of the people. And the people believed. And they heard that Yah had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked on their affliction. And they bowed their heads and did ambience.
Right. And it say, and the people just, learn something on the way of learning certain. And he said he did all these signs before the people, and the people believed, right? And that's what Mashiach was saying. Man, you heed them, y'all need a sign. And Paul said it too. You heed them, always need a sign, right? They say the Greeks look for knowledge or something like that, and you heed them, look for signs. Come on. Ain't nothing the sun. You do a sign before them, they're like, oh wow, okay. That's why it's gonna be so much trickery when this Antichrist come. Because they gonna be, oh, look what he just did. That gotta be the return of the Christ.
So sad, man. That's sad it's gonna happen like that.
And I say to Christ because, go ahead.
And Moshe said, thus says Yah, about midnight, I'm going into the midst of Mizraim, and all the firstborn in the land of Mizraim shall die. From the firstborn of Pharaoh who sits on his throne, even to the firstborn of the female servant who was behind the handmill, and all the firstborn of cattle. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Mizraim, such as had never been, or ever shall be again. But against any children of Israel, no dog shall move his tongue, against man or against beast, so that you know that Yah makes distinction between Mizraim and Israel. And all these servants of yours shall come down to me and bow down to me, saying, get out, you and all the people at your feet. And after that I shall go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in great displeasure. But Yah said to Moshe, Pharaoh is not going to listen to you in order to multiply my wonders in the land of Mizraim. Harden his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And Moshe and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh. However, Yah strengthened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not let the children of Israel go out of his land.
Hey, if you go back up to that verse 7, it say, so that you know that Yah makes distinction between Mitzrayim and Yisrael. And just like Yamel said, this the part that we dealing with, the creation of a nation. It's a distinction between Mitzrayim and Yisrael, right? So all these brothers who be like all these brothers who walk around with an unk on their neck and talking about stuff like that, it's a distinction between you and Mizraim, man.
That's a big difference, man. You know what I'm saying? That ain't nothing.
Y'all look alike, even though y'all might look alike.
Right.
It's
big
a difference.
We don't bow down to pagan gods and things like that.
Right.
And all this. We don't deal with that, man.
Not the nation of Yisrael. No.
Sir.
And that's what they used to always try to tell us, that we was kings and queens in Egypt. We grew up hearing that.
Man,
brothers go hard on that, man. They standing on that.
Nah. Hey, we only read about one brother that grew up in Pharaoh's house amongst Pharaoh's kids, right?
Right.
And that was Moshe.
Right.
You ain't Kemet, brother. You Israel.
And Yah spoke to Moshe and Aaron in the land of Mizraim, saying, this new moon is the beginning of new moons for you. It is the first new moon of the year for you. Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, on the 10th day of this new moon, each one of them is to take for himself a lamb, according to the house of his father.
Hey, hold on. Hold on, my bad. Sorry. Hey, go back to that verse 2, because again, I know y'all, it sounds like y'all Mel got some traffic in the background, but it sounds like he wanted to say something. So I speak for the brother, right? It say, this new moon is the beginning of new moons for you. It is the first new moon of the year for you, right? Again, the creation of a nation. The Most High separating you, but because you've been coming up, going according to the new moon of the Egyptians, right? It's 8 months. So hey, just like we in Babylon right now, and we be like, oh, well, the new year is January 1st. But that's not according, because the Most High set our new year up right here where we read creation of a nation, man.
And not just that, he's setting up times, and he's setting up customs, right. and you got prophecy. You know what I'm saying? All in one. This is right before we going into. This was right before we get the 10 Commandments. This is before all of that. The Most High is already setting us up. Even going back to the King, telling you, you know what I'm saying, you got 6 days to work, but I'm giving you this 1 day to rest. You know what I'm saying? So even as the Most High is delivering us out of Egypt, he's setting up that nation. You know what I'm saying? Giving you times and laws. You know, he's giving you a custom, right? To kill the lamb. And he's giving you that understanding that Mashiach is coming, right? So I mean, he's doing so much, and just and you know what I mean? In this one chapter and beyond, now, like as the Most High setting up, he's setting up so much more with just you know what I mean? It's so much he's setting up in just one little line, and it's amazing.
Like you say, establishing our time and our months.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, one word, bro.
You ain't going according to these Egyptian months and time no more.
Right.
That's what it is now.
You know, holy days, everything. God giving it all to us right here.
I'm about to read it too. All praises for sure.
I would say amazing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Amazing. I can't find a word for it.
Hey, right. Like you say, it ain't no word for it.
Right, and that's why I stumbled on my words. That's why I was stumbling on my words. I can't even explain it. But y'all see what the Most High is doing. All praises, man.
Right, and that's all we can say. That's what we can say, Adam. Praise Yah. That's all we can say.
Man. All right, 3. What we at? 4. And if the household is too small for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next to the house take it according to the number of the beings. According to each man's need, you make your count for the lamb.
Right. And you gotta think about that. It say, and if the household too small for a lamb, right? Your household, it just might be you and your woman. Or it might be you, your woman, and y'all 2 kids, and y'all trying to slay a lamb and deal with it, eat it throughout the night, and then have to burn the rest of it because y'all not gonna finish it. You know what I'm saying?
Let the lamb be a perfect one, a year-old male. Take it from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same new moon. Then all the assembly of the congregation of Yisrael shall slay it between the evenings. And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel of the houses where they eat. And they shall eat the flesh on that night, roasted in fire, with unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Do not eat it raw, nor boiled at all with water, but roasted in fire, its head with its legs and its inward parts. And do not leave it until morning, and what remains of it until morning, you are to burn it with fire.
Hold on. He said don't boil it, but roast it in the fire. And we know we dealing with Mashiach is that representation of the lamb. And John said that this one comes, I baptize you with water, but this one will baptize you with fire, man.
Right. All praises. Roasted in fire.
Come on, man. You see how much what the Most High is doing?
Right.
Man, everything you tell you has a purpose and a meaning for it.
For sure.
We at 11, I think.
And even when he deal with us, what he tell you? He said that you're gonna be tried by the fire, right?
True. Had to be. And this is how you eat it. Your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you should eat it in haste. It is the Pesach of Yah, the Passover of Yahuwah. So they hurry up and eating it, standing up. We're gonna bang this real quick so we get up out of here.
Loins girded.
Hey, I roll back up to that verse 7 for me one time. And it say, and they shall take some of the blood and put it on the two doorposts and on the lintel of the house where they eat it, right? So that's the beginning of belief right there. Still speaking of Mashiach, right? It's the beginning of that belief because Mashiach said you gotta believe, right? So you gotta be covered in that blood, right? Because
yes, sir.
If you didn't take the blood and put it up your doorpost, you ain't believe, right? So those who didn't believe didn't do it. It's the beginning of belief right here. Ain't nothing new under the sun, as y'all been saying.
Covered by the blood, right?
Our praises. Representation of what was to come. That's what this is.
Yes, sir.
On the doorpost, and Most High said, I stand at the door and knock. Let me in. I'll sit with you. Are we on 11? Or, yeah, I think it's 11.
We're going on 12. And I shall pass
yeah.
through the land of Mizraim on that night, and shall strike all the firstborn of the land of Mizraim, both man and beast. Said he was going to do it. And on that all the mighty ones of Mizraim, I shall execute judgment. I am Yahuwah. And the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I shall pass over you, and let the plague not come on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Mizraim. And this day shall become to you a remembrance, and you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yah throughout your generations. Celebrate it as a festival, an everlasting law.
A what?
An everlasting law.
You say celebrate it as a festival. Come on. So when we come together, like you say on the Passover, it's a feast. It's a festival. That's where the word festival come from, feast, right? And what we doing, we praising the Most High. We remembering this day. And now, like you say, our representation, Mashiach, our Passover lamb. Man, we come together, we celebrate Mashiach. Come on.
And I heard Yahudah say earlier, a heritage. So, we got this creation of a nation, the Most High laying it down right now, giving us our heritage. Adding on, building us up, man, as a people. So this ain't no religious thing. This ain't nothing religious about keeping Passover. This is, like I said, a remembrance. This really happened. You know what I'm saying? This is what I this is what we do. Go ahead.
And again, say it was a separation between the Egyptians and the Mizrahites. You feel me? So you're like, oh yeah, I know, the Mizrahites used to celebrate during this time. We don't deal with that though, right? Because again, just like they bring up Christmas and stuff, they call it Christmas now, but back in the day it was called something different.
Saturnalia.
Saturnalia.
Yeah, there y'all go. Y'all deal with all that. It's called something different for sure.
A big distinction right there, That's a big distinction, man. They deal with Saturnalia and everything else. We deal with the laws that the Most High has given us.
Right, and the feast days that He given us, for sure.
7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Indeed, on the first day you cause leaven to cease from your houses. For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, beans shall be cut off from Israel. That beans shall be cut off.
And then we got to think about that also in the spiritual too. When it say, indeed, the first day you cause leaven to cease from your house, right? When we think about our house, we talking about our temple, not our physical house that we live in. We talking about our body, right? When we say have leaven cease, it's talking about like sin, because we know a little leaven leavens the whole lump. A little sin have your whole temple sinning out here. You sin regardless. You feel me? So cause all that to cease from your body, man.
Right. Sure. Also not putting it in your body as well, too, though, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I just said that's why I said in the spiritual, but physical, for sure.
For sure. Okay. And on the first day is a set apart gathering, and on the 7th day you have a set apart gathering. No work at all is done on them. Only that which is eaten by every being that is alone is prepared by you.
So that's the only work that you can do is what you cook, right?
And you should guard the festival of Matzah. For on this same day I brought your divisions out of the land of Mizraim, and you shall guard this day throughout your generations, an everlasting law. In the first month, on the 14th day of the new moon, in the evening you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the new moon in the evening. For 7 days, no leaven is to be found in your houses, for if anyone eats what is leavened, that same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether sojourner or native of the land. Do not eat that which is leavened in all your dwellings. You are to eat unleavened bread. And Moshe called for all the elders of Israel and said to them, go out and take lambs for yourselves according to your clans, and slay the Passover. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it into the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning.
Hey, y'all don't need to see what I'm about to do.
And Yahuwah shall pass on to smite the Mizraites, and shall see the blood on the lintel and on the 2 doorposts. And Yahuwah shall pass over the door and not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to smite you. And you shall guard this word as your law for you, your sons, forever.
For how long, God?
Forever. 28.
Jump to 28?
Yeah, 28 through 40.
Okay.
And the children of Israel went away and did so as Yah had commanded Moshe and Aaron, so they did. And it came to be at midnight that Yah struck all the firstborn of the land of Mizraim, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on his throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of livestock.
Come on, man.
And Pharaoh rose up in the night, and all his servants, and all the Mizraites. And there was a great cry in Mizraim, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. Man, that was a great cry, you know?
That is a great cry.
He called for Moshe and Aaron by night and said, Arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahuwah, as you have said. Take both your flocks and your herds, as you have said, and go. Then you should bless me too.
Something?
Then the Go ahead.
He said, y'all get out of here, but on the way, hey, bless me too.
Bless me too.
hey, and Ben, but we also see later, because we dealing with creation of a nation, but we go read in the book, it also say that Pharaoh never drowned in the Red Sea, and he moved to another nation because he started believing in the Most High. For sure. So that's another story for another day.
And the Mizraites were stronger on the people to hasten to send them away out of the land, for they said, we are all dying. Y'all got to go.
Out of here.
Now y'all got to go.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneaded bowls bound up in their garments and on their shoulders. Man,
and we still got. Oh, go ahead, Adam. My bad.
I'm just saying they rolling out, man. Just grab it right here, grab it. They rolling.
Right, but
they ain't ready. Take it anyway.
Right, and because the Most High struck what it said at midnight, right?
Yeah.
So it's still at that time though. Pharaoh's like, man, y'all gotta go. But Moshe, we read in the book. Moshe said, man, we ain't leaving that night like we some thieves. You feel me? So they end up leaving that same morning, right?
As y'all commanded, right?
For sure.
And the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moshe. And they had asked from the Mizraites objects of silver and objects of gold and garments. And Yah gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mizraites, so that they gave them what they asked, and they plundered the Mizraites.
Right. So they got silver objects of gold and garments, but in the wilderness, you can't eat these things, right? And we know what happened in the wilderness. But go ahead.
Right. And the children of Israel set out from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, besides the little ones. And a mixed multitude went up with them too. Also flocks and herds, very much livestock.
It's a lot of livestock, but it's a lot of men too that eat.
Yeah.
And they say a mixed multitude.
Mixed multitude.
Mixed. Go ahead, Al.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Nah, you got it.
No, I was just piggybacking off you. A mixed multitude.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mixed multitude meaning it could have been a mongrel race, right? mixed descendants, you feel me? But it was still a mixed multitude, right?
Right. Not only
Even
Israel, it was a mixed multitude.
Even some Egyptians that believed in the Most High.
Maybe that's a possibility. I don't really know, because again, you had to put that blood up. You had to believe. You had to put that blood over your doorpost. If you ain't do it, and if we go back to the book or reading that Jasher, we see that the Mizrahites, they ain't believe.
Yeah,
they had their own mighty ones that they believed in, right?
Yeah. Although he did say mixed multitude,
right?
That's why I believe, like with all that stuff going on, some of them had to like, man, that your God doing all these plagues. I'm gonna follow your God, not these fake ones that we got.
Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I can see it, but we just have to go read and see what the book say for sure. I can see that too.
All right, 39. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they had brought out of Mizraim. For it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mizraim and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves. And the sojourn of the children of Israel who lived in Mizraim was 430 years.
What they do? Go ahead out.
No, I was just looking at that 39. That's kind of crazy when he said, for they did not delay. Just like we started the whole discussion off when Joseph said, come down to Mizraim, do not delay. So as they was on their way out, and had not been able to delay. So they did not delay coming in, and they did not delay going out. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, man.
And it also say, well, where it be confusion amongst Israel, where it say we were slaves in Mizraim for 430 years, but it don't say that. It say we lived in Mizraim for 430 years, not with slaves there, right?
Right.
So you can't get that confusion saying, oh, we were slaves there for 400 years. That's what that prophecy talking about in Genesis. It say we lived there, not with slaves there.
Right.
I think and the text said they was oppressed for 430 years. And you look at that, we ain't been slaves here in America for 400 years. We've been oppressed, basically. And slaves most of the time.
Right. Did you finish that 40 up?
Yeah.
Who want to read? I can read. Big Up, you want to read?
I just got Deuteronomy 5. Go ahead.
All right, so 13, 1 through 4. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, set apart to me all the firstborn, the one opening the womb, among the children of Israel, among men and among beasts. It is mine.
Right.
And Moshe said to the people, remember this day in which you went out of Mizraim, out of the house of slavery. For by strength of hand, Yahuwah brought you out of this place, and whatever is leavened shall not be eaten. Today you are going out in the new moon, Abib. So it's the first day of the year, verse 17.
Okay.
And it came to be, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that Elohim did not lead them by the way of the land of the Philistines. Though that was nearer, for Elohim said, lest the people regret when they see fighting and return to Mizraim.
So we see that our people was in slavery and was weakened by that. In that same sense, how we are in America, like Yamel says to this day, we was weakened by our slavery, knowing that we are stronger than these people, but when I say strong, I mean, long as we serving the Most High, we stronger than these. So let me correct my word. Long as we serving the Most High, we stronger than these people, right? But these people still had doubt in their mind, and the Most High knew that. So he's like, by the Philistines, because they're gonna have doubt in their mind. It's gonna start. They're gonna have to fight but they not ready for that. I gotta take them through this wilderness and build them up and show them the fear that they fear me, and then they'll become strong and they'll fight. They'll fight anybody to knock them down. Come on, man. You know about that wilderness, how we was knocking heads. The Most High had to take us through the wilderness, strengthen us back up. That's why, again, we're going to go through the wilderness again. We have to be strengthened back up, man, from this weak state that we was put in. Our minds are weak. We're in a weak state. The Most High got to take us through the wilderness and build us back up. As true men and true servants of the Most High to serve him correctly, man. Before him, man. Show.
Come on. All praises. That makes sense, bro. Wow. Verse 18, I think. Yeah, here we go. So Elohim led the people around by way of the wilderness of the sea of reeds. And the children of Israel went up in fives from the land of Mizraim. And Moshe took the bones of Joseph with him. For he certainly made the children of Israel swear, saying, Elohim shall certainly visit you, and you shall bring my bones from here with you.
Come on, you know that. So what we read earlier when we the first discussion, it said even his brothers, they call him the master of dreams, right? That's what they call him, right? So we gotta see that Joseph had already dreamed that they was gonna leave Mizraim. So he said, "When y'all leave, man, take my bones with you." He already knew. The master
he already dreamed, didn't he?
He dreamed it up. And that's why when we read earlier, when they had that battle, some with the Canaan, they said that they took the bones of Jacob, but they didn't. But they didn't leave the bones of Joseph. But they left the bones of Joseph in Egypt.
Right. So who took the bones of Joseph? Moshe and them. When they really up out of there, because they couldn't take the bones of Joseph because they returned. A lot of them returned back to Mizraim. Ain't no return. Right. The Most High said, "I'm gonna bring y'all back."
Right. Yeah, some that stayed in Canaan and some that went back to Mizraim. You're right,
Right.
And they departed from Sukkah and camped in Etham at the edge of the wilderness. And Yahuwah went before them by day in a column of cloud to lead the way, and by night in a column of fire to give them light, so as to go by day and by night.
So it's a continuous move then. You know, just think about if you're in the wilderness with no lights. Because we got street lights where we go these days. But y'all, man, you say country, you say it just be so dark. Come on, man. If it's dark like that, you gotta stop. You gotta stop moving. You can't see. If you walk in the dark, you might be walking in circles, man.
And you know, it get cold in the desert too, so they probably were keeping them warm and everything. The column of cloud did not cease by day, nor the column of fire by night before the people.
And when you were saying that it was probably keeping them warm, you got to remember when they left Egypt, they took they silver, they gold, and they garments. So give me that big coat. I need that coat for the wilderness.
Right. Exodus 14, 5-31. I read this. I'll read it. And I shall strengthen the heart of Pharaoh, and he shall pursue them. But I am to be esteemed, though Pharaoh and over all his army, and the Mizraim shall know that I am Yahuwah. And they did so. And it was reported to the sovereign of Mizraim that the people have fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants was turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? So he made his chariot ready and took his people with him. And he took 600 choice chariots and all the chariots of Mizraim with the officers over all of them. And Yahuwah strengthened the heart of Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, and he pursued the children of Israel. But the children of Israel went out defiantly. That's defiantly or definite. Defiantly, right? Yeah. And the Mizraimites pursued them and all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them, camping by the sea, besides Pi Harith, before Baal Zephon. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes and saw the Mizrahites coming up after them, and they were greatly afraid. So the children of Israel cried out to Yah, and they said to Moshe, "Did you take us away to die in the wilderness, because there are no burial sites in Mizraim? What is this to you? Have you done to us to bring us up out of Mizraim?" That's what you were just talking about, Shad. Like these people, Most High had to strengthen their faith. These people, they had no faith for real.
Right. So
they were still scared.
Remember, they said that the Pelishtim was giants, right? They were some big people. I can't take you through that land and you're gonna have to fight, but your heart ain't ready to fight. You scared, man. Fear me first, man. You
right.
Still man.
Exactly. And mind you, they already witnessed the column of cloud by day and by night, and they still scared.
Right. It wasn't until they had to come get these commandments and on strengthen up real quick, and they still was going astray in the wilderness after the commandments.
Man.
That's why it took 40 years. I gotta purge out these weak boys and bringing them boys that truly believe, man.
Man. Is this not the word that we spoke to you in Mizraim, saying, "Leave us alone and let us serve the Mizrahites"? For it would have been better for us to serve the Mizrahites than to die in the wilderness.
They say we would rather work without getting paid to die in the wilderness. Come on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. And Moshe said to the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the deliverance of Yahuwah, which he does for you today. For the Mizrahites whom you see today, you are never to see again."
All praises. That's what we need to do. Be patient and stand still and wait on the deliverance of the Most High. Praise
right. That's why he said, "I should bring you to Egypt again." He wasn't talking about that because he already just said, "You're never going to see this Egypt again." So we know that Egypt is meant slavery. Yeah, and that's why they took Joseph Bones, from Egypt, signifying we wasn't going back to that Egypt. Right. Yahuwah does fight for you, and you keep silent. And Yahuwah said to Moses, "Why do you cry to me? Speak to the children of Israel and let them go forward. And you lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, and let the children of Israel go on dry ground through the midst of the sea."
All praises, right? And we know what that rod was. When Adam brought out his discussion, we seen what that was the rod of the Most High, right? Stretch out the rod, my rod, right?
So that rod, that rod will go all the way back to Adam, right?
Yes, sir.
And I am strengthening the hearts of the Mizrahites, and they shall follow them. And I am to be esteemed through Pharaoh and over all his army, his chariots and his horsemen. And the Mizrahites shall know that I am Yahuwah when I am esteemed through Pharaoh, his chariots and his horsemen. And the messenger of Elohim, who went before the camp of Israel, moved and went behind them. And the column of cloud went from before them and stood behind them, and came between the camp of the Mizrahites and the camp of Israel. And it was the cloud and darkness and the darkness, and it gave light by night, and one did not come near the other all the night. And Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahuwah caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. So it took a whole night for the water to divide. It wasn't just I'm gonna put my staff down and just rise up. It took it took some time.
He had to put that staff down inside there at a certain time, didn't he?
Right.
Because remember at another time when Israel was fighting, I forget who they was fighting against, he had to hold that same rod up. And every time that rod was going down, Israel started losing. But once he held it up, they winning again. So that was Aaron and another brother came and helped him keep his arm up to hold that rod up continuously.
And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them, on their right and on their left. And the Mizrahites pursued and went after them into the midst of the sea, all the horses of Pharaoh and his chariots and his horsemen. And it came to be in the morning watch that Yahuwah looked down upon the army of the Mizrahites through the column of fire and cloud. And he brought the army of the Mizrahites into confusion. And he took off their chariot wheels so that they drove them with difficulty. And the Mizrahites said, "Let us flee from the face of Israel, for Yahuwah fights for them against the Mizrahites." Then Yahuwah said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, and let the waters come back upon the Mizrahites, on their chariots and on their horsemen." Right? So this stuff right here really happened because they got a place where this happened at, and they found them chariots under the sea. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's a witness. You can go look it up on YouTube. It was a man who was seeking the actual Sea of Reeds, what it's called, right? And he actually approached the same Sea of Reeds, and he said, it wasn't the Red Sea, it was the Sea of Reeds, and he actually seen this same thing come to pass. They had to go look that up though.
And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its usual flow. At the break of day, with the Mizrahites fleeing into it, thus Yahuwah overthrew the Mizrahites in the midst of the sea.
Wow. So let's say at the break of day, they said, "Oh man, look," because you remember they couldn't see at night, and we was passing over through the sea at night. He said he did at night, right? So the Mizrahites had to stop at night because they couldn't see. But we had that column of cloud leading us, right?
Right.
So we pass over at night with that column of cloud because we can see where we was going. Mizrahites had to wait, and once the break of the day, they was like, "Okay, let's go get them. Break of the day. See, it's divided. Let's go through it." Boom. See what happened.
And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them, and not even one was left of them.
So it never says Pharaoh. That's what we were speaking about earlier, when Pharaoh was never drowned in the Red Sea or Sea of Reeds. He ended up going to another nation and becoming king of another nation, and he believed in the Most High. You will believe in the Most High if you've seen this too, right?
Yeah.
After that, Pharaoh was a witness. He was able to give a testimony. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And the children of Israel walked on dry ground in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall of them on the right and on their left.
Hold on. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Right. Thus Yahuwah saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Mizrahites. And Israel saw the Mizrahites dead on the seashore.
So your body ain't just floating in the water. Eventually, your body, just like a dead whale, eventually his body is gonna, surface on the seashore. Right?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep. And Israel saw the great work which Yahuwah had done in Mizraim, and the people feared Yah and believed Yah and his servant Moshe.
Okay. And I just want to point out that 29. I keep on letting them know that it was a wall to their right and to their left. The Most High letting you know this ain't no old like high tide, low tide type of thing. When it be like a low tide and people go gather clams, you feel me? But they got to hurry up before the high tide come back and they get drowned. Most High letting you know it ain't nothing like that. It was waters on the right and on the left, split, right?
Let me get this up. In the third new moon, after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mizraim, on this day they came to the wilderness of Sinai. So after they crossed that water, they was in the wilderness, right?
In the wilderness of Sinai, yes, sir. The same when Most High said, "What? When you bring them out of Egypt, what? Come serve me on this mountain."
Right, right. For they set out from Rephidim and had come to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain.
That's that same mountain Horeb. Sinai and Horeb is the same mountain.
And Moshe went up to Elohim, and Yahuwah called to him from the mountain, saying, "This is what you are to say to the house of Jacob, and declare to the children of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Mizrahites, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you to myself. And now, if you diligently, if you diligently obey my voice, and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine."
So what you gotta do,
make a covenant with the Most High.
You gotta diligently, and like Big I grun that word diligently out before. It means carefully, right? You gotta carefully obey the voice of the Most High, and guard the covenant that the Most High made with you, right? And then we're gonna be that treasure possession. But these are the things that we have to do, for sure.
And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set apart nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel. And Moses came
and called one more time. My last time pausing you out just to point out, just I said what the discussion was about, the creation of a nation, right? So if you do these things, the Most High say you're gonna be a reign of priests and a set apart nation. That's the kind of nation you're gonna be. All these other nations gonna do their thing, but you are set apart. And the Most High called you, like Big Guy, he ain't on mute right now. I guess he just quiet, But what the Most High called us to do? What's I can't even think of the word, the question I asked you, but you know the answer though.
To be set apart?
Be set apart.
What he desired?
Yes,
there you go, huh? Yep. And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set apart nation. Those are the words which you are able to which you are to speak to the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people and set before them all these words which Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, "All that Yahuwah has spoken, we shall do." So Moses brought back the words of the people to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Moses, "See, I am coming to you in the thick cloud, so that the people hear when I speak with you and believe you forever." And Moses reported the words of the people to Yah. And Yahuwah said to Moses, "Go to the people and set them apart today and tomorrow, and they shall wash their garments and shall be prepared by the third day. For on the third day Yahuwah shall come down upon Mount Sinai before the eyes of the people." Verse 14 through 20. And Moses came down from the mountain to the people and set the people apart, and they washed their garments. And he said to the people, "Be prepared by the third day. Do not come near a wife." And it came to be on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountain, and a voice of shofar was very strong, and all the peoples who were in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet with him, to meet with Elohim. And they stood at the foot of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was in smoke, all of it, because Yahuwah descended upon it in fire. And its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and all the mountain trembled exceedingly. And to this day, you know that mountain is burnt at the top, right?
Yeah, and to this day.
Mm-hmm.
That's astonishing, man.
And when a voice of the shofar sounded long and became very strong, Moses spoke, and Elohim answered him by voice. And Yahuwah came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain. And Yahuwah called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. 24. And Yahuwah said to him, come, go down, and then come up, you and Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to Yahuwah, lest he break out against them. And Moshe went down to the people and spoke to them. Deuteronomy 5, whole chapter.
So we see that they on Mount Horeb, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what happened on Mount Horeb then. Or Mount Sinai.
And Moshe called all Yisrael and said to them, hear, O Yisrael, the laws and right rulings which I speak in your hearing today. You shall learn them and guard to do them. Yahuwah, our Elohim, made a covenant with us in Horeb. Yahuwah did not make this covenant with our fathers, but with us, those who are here today, all of us who are alive.
So, and that's specifically why we're reading this Deuteronomy 5. We could have just went to Exodus 20 and read these commandments, but he's being specific. He said he called Yisrael, right, and said to them, right, the creation of a nation. He called Yisrael and said this to them, right. He said, Yah Elohim made a covenant with us in Horeb. This is being real specific right now. The creation of a nation. Go ahead, Ak.
With you face to face on the mountain, from the midst of the fire. I stood between Yahuwah and you at that time to declare to you the word of Yahuwah. For you were afraid because of the fire, and you did not go up the mountain, saying, I am Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage.
Wow. So we see what Mizraim means right there, or Egypt means right there. Out of the land of Mizraim, out the house of bondage. Mizraim equals the house of bondage. Go ahead.
Mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not bring the name of Yahuwah, your Elohim, to naught, for Yahuwah does not leave him unpunished who brings his name to naught. Guard the Sabbath day to set it apart, as Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of Yahuwah your Elohim. Do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, nor any of your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates, so that your male servant and your female servant rest as you do. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mizraim, and that Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out from there by a strong hand and by an outstretched arm. Therefore Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you to perform the Sabbath day
And again, that's why we read this Deuteronomy 5. This is being real specific, dealing with the nation of Israel. Because all nations wasn't slaves in Mizraim.
Your father and your mother, as Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you, so that your days are prolonged, and so that it is well with you on the soil which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder. You do not commit adultery. You do not steal. You do not bear false witness against your neighbor. You do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor do you desire your neighbor's house, his field, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, his ox or his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. These words Yahuwah spoke to all your assembly in the mountain from the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness with a loud voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them on 2 tablets of stone and gave them to me.
He added no more. Come on, we got to keep these commandments, right?
And who wrote them on the tablet? They're saying he wrote them on the tablet of stone and gave them to me.
Right.
And it came to be, when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, while the mountain was burning with fire, that you came near to me, all the heads of your tribes and your elders, and said, see, Yahuwah our Elohim has shown us his esteem and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. Today, we have seen that Elohim speaks with man, and he lives.
So we know that the Jews need a sign. Yahudim need a sign. The Most High know that. He said, hey, man, if they don't have no sign, they ain't going to believe. So that's why the Most High was bringing signs upon us. And even speaking on the mountain, it had to be a sign and a wonder. Or else what? The Yahudim wouldn't believe.
Why should we die? For this great fire is consuming us. If we hear the voice of Yahuwah our Elohim anymore, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh who has heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking from the midst of the fire, as we have, and does live? You go near and hear all that Yahuwah our Elohim says, and speak to us all that Yahuwah our Elohim said to you, and we shall hear and do it. And Yahuwah heard the voice of your words when you spoke to me. And Yahuwah said to me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken to you. They have done well in all that they have spoken. Oh, that they had such a heart in them to fear me and to guard all my commands always, so that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Go say to them, return to your tents, but you stand here by me, and let me speak to you all the commands and laws and the right rulings which you are to teach them, and they shall do them in the land which I am giving them to possess.
Okay, so we see that. We see that Israel got to go hear these commandments from the Most High, but they had to back. And Moshe got the rest of the law, statutes, and commands to deliver to Israel, right?
And you shall guard to do them, as Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in all the ways which Yahuwah your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live, and it be well with you. And you shall prolong your days in the land which you possess.
All praise. So we know we got to keep these commandments that the Most High delivered to our forefathers, to us, to them personally, right? And then he said, and you shall guard to do as Yah your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside from the left or the right, right? And also it said, so that you might live and it be well with you and your children forever. with you and your children forever. Forever don't stop.
So the thing is, if they did that, it might be well with us. But the thing is, obviously, seeing our state that we're in, they didn't do well. You know what I'm saying?
And still don't do well to this day. All praises that the Most High even, came to us that we can even turn back. Praise Yah.
Praise Yah. Praise Yah for real. Huh?
And this was also, go ahead, my bad.
And this was also from Yahuwah for the children of Israel to benefit them in their latter days.
Right.
In order that all the children of Israel might know Yahuwah Elohim.
You got these commandments. So in the latter days, you keep these commandments in order that all the children of Yashrael might know Yahuwah Elohim. Come on. We got to know the Most High. We keep his word. Again, we said what we talked about earlier. The beginning of that wisdom is the fear of the Most High.
Right.
To know the signs and mighty wonders which Yahuwah would do in Mizraim on account of his people, Israel, in order that the children of Israel might fear Yahuwah Elohim of their ancestors and walk in all his ways, they and their seed after them all the days.
All the days. Praise Yah.
Praise Yah. Creation of a nation, y'all.
Praise man.
Nation.
It is definitely the creation of a nation.
Yeah.
Of the nation.
Oh, praises, man.
Oh, praises, sure.
So now we got part 3, you know what I'm saying? But as we left off, right now, we received those laws. Most High made his covenant with Israel. So now, we gotta deal with what happened. Why are we in this state today? What's going on in that wilderness? We're gonna see where the Most High Spirit move us for this part 3. But
I like where that's going, man. Hey, Shag, I bet you got all this on a half a sticky note, boy.
Hey man, all praise to the Most High. When we ran it together, man, I let y'all deal with the sticky notes. I'm just writing. I'm just writing.
I'm messing. I'm messing around, man. I gotta mess around.
Yeah, I got
regular though.
Y'all be going in. I just try to keep up. That's it. Straight up. Hey, I forgot what I was gonna say. Talking to Adam. All praises though. I say that for sure.
Hey, look, this song already looking like it's starting off crazy. Like, man, these songs be on point sometimes.
Okay,
crazy.
Right into them.
Psalms 86. Incline your ear, O Yahuwah. Answer me, for I am poor and needy. Guard my being, for I am lovely committed. You are my Elohim. Save your servant, who is trusting in you.
Come on, now we just dealt with this, getting saved out of Egypt. Our people crying out for their condition. I'm like, come on, you can't make this up, bro.
All praises that's trusting in you. Show favor to me, oh Yah, for I cry to you all day long. Bring joy to the being of your servant. For to you, O Yahuwah, I lift up my being. For you, Yah, are good and ready to forgive, and great in loving commitment to all those who call upon you. Give ear, O Yahuwah, to my prayer, and listen to the voice of my pleadings. In the day of my distress, I call upon you, for you answered me. There is none like you. Go ahead, Art.
Like you were just reading, they cried out to the Most High. The Most High heard them. You know what I'm saying? It's just, man.
Hey, I'll pray. I was thinking the same thing. Praise Yah for sure. In the day of my distress, I call upon you, for you answer me. There is none like you among the mighty ones. Oh, yeah. And like your works, there are none. And we just read about the Most High works, what he did, right?
Yes, sir.
Let all nations you have made come and bow themselves before you, oh yeah, and give esteem to your name.
And that's what Pharaoh did, right? Like you were saying, you know, Pharaoh survived and he ended up being the believer. You don't think he told the rest of the people about the Most High?
Hey, the Most High worked how he worked. Most High sent him to become a king of another nation so he could be a witness. Right? For you are great and are doing wonders. You are Elohim. You alone. Teach me your way, oh Yah. Let me walk in your truth. Unite my heart to fear your name. I praise you, O Yahuwah, my Elohim, with all my heart. And I esteem your name forever. For your loving commitment is great towards me. And you have delivered my being from the depths of Sheol. O Elohim, the proud have risen against me, and a band of dreaded men have sought my life, and have not set you before them. But you, O Yahoo, are a compassionate El, and showing favor, patient and great, and loving commitment and truth. Turn to me and show favor to me. Give your strength to your servant, and save the son of your female servant. Show me a sign for good. Yehudim always need a sign. Show me a sign for good, and let those hating me see it and be ashamed. For you, Yah, have helped me and comforted me. Hallelujah. Praise Yah.
Hallelujah.
Man, all praises, y'all. All praises.
All praises.
To the Most High.
Yeah, to the Most High. Praise Yah.
Man. Put together nicely, man.
Yeah.
We got part 3 coming this week.